On a recent Mediterranean cruise, we stopped in Kusadasi, and honestly, it turned out to be a totally unforgettable adventure.
In this video, we're going to take you through our full day from docking in Kusadasi and going to ancient Ephesus, and then getting lost in the Grand Bazaar and stumbling upon this peaceful, quiet mosque. So let's go. Hi, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Marshall.
And welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And if you end up liking this video or finding it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like. So before we go any further, we do want to clarify that Royal Caribbean's website says Ephesus as the destination, Ephesus, Turkey.
True, but the port is actually Kusadasi. So you start out there for any adventure in that area, and Ephesus is being the biggest place to go to.
Yeah.
This was our first visit in Asia, and boy, I don't know about you, but I was super excited.
I know you were.
We looked at excursion options for Kusadasi through Royal Caribbean. The ship tours are breeze logistics-wise, but you're kind of stuck to their schedule. Moving with the crowds and hanging out in the theater, waiting to get off with like 100 of your best friends all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. So there's really no flexibility, period. On the other hand, going solo, first time in a port, first time in the continent, didn't really seem like a great idea.
Yeah. So we chose a 3-hour tour, and I will say, just a tip for you, if you are planning a trip to Kusadasi, Turkey, make sure if you want to take a tour from your cruise line, be sure to book it as early as possible, because these filled up like 6 or 8 months before the trip. I was really surprised by that. But we did find one 3-hour tour called Ancient Ephesus. So we snagged that one, and they took us right away and got on the bus, and off we went. And our tour guide to here was amazing, and he gave us a lot of history. It's about a 20 to 25 minute drive from the port to ancient Ephesus.
You got your first sense of the larger town of Kusadasi driving through the streets, and it was way more modern than I had thought. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you hit this like farmland or just countryside on your way to Ephesus. It was beautiful.
We've seen a lot of ruins in Rome, and we had been to Athens at this point, and so we were kind of prepared, I think, for what ancient Ephesus was going to be like, but there's kind of nothing like seeing it with your own eyes, like these pieces of history, and makes you feel like a little dot on a much bigger surface area, I guess.
Yeah, everything they say about Ephesus is true, because you go to these other places and you see a Roman Forum, and you can't really make things, you have to use your imagination. When you go to Ephesus, it is ruins, but you are walking on the streets that people were walking 2,000 years ago, and you can see enough of all the different walls to really, you got to use your imagination, but you can really feel that this was a town. Yeah,
now this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it isn't just a couple of pillars, it's an entire ancient city laid out in front of you. And they took us to the Great Theater, and like you said, there's no need to imagine anything, because it is such a well-preserved amphitheater, and it can hold up to 25,000 people. I want to say one more thing about those marble streets we were walking on. They could get very slippery, and it had rained that morning, so I was holding on to Marshall's arm. I did not want to slip, trip, or fall, so just be extremely careful if you're there, that the surfaces can get very slippery.
Yeah, and currently you start in the upper parking lot, upper area, and walk down. Now, it's not necessarily all a steep hill, but you are walking on an elevation that you got to hold on if it's slippery.
Yeah. Should we talk about the library?
Yeah, let's talk about the lot to talk about the library.
So the library is something that I think we've all seen. If you look up ancient Ephesus and you look at pictures, this is probably one of the most photographed buildings,
Sure.
I would say. The two-story facade is an absolute architectural marvel. It was amazing to stand under there. I don't even know how many pictures we ended up taking.
Probably too many, but it was worth it.
And our guide said that this is the third largest library in the ancient world and that it had like 12,000 scrolls in it.
I'm old enough to remember the card catalog as opposed to the computer. Those librarians, though, hats off to them to go through scrolls to find the right scroll of 12,000.
Yeah, and you know what I'm thinking of? Do you remember the story he told us about the library is here, and then
yeah.
diagonally, sort of across the street, was the brothel, and there was an underground tunnel / walkway between the two.
Right. Well, the full story is, for years and years and years, they made a joke that, oh, they're so close together, I bet there was a tunnel so the men could just sneak over there after saying, I'm going to the library,
Hey,
dear.
honey.
Right. And lo and behold, I don't remember how many years ago they actually found the tunnel.
Yeah, it was pretty, I mean, it gave us a little chuckle, but I guess in reality it probably wasn't that funny.
No. And there are stone shapes that point to the brothel. I won't go into any other great detail, but it's also thought of as the first advertising in the ancient world. So it was quite a detailed tour.
Yeah.
and a fun tour.
I forgot about that
Oh.
little sign.
Yes.
Yeah, check it out if you go there.
Now, with all this talk about brothels, just to finish up, there's a lot of ancient religious history in Ephesus, which includes St. Paul going to Ephesus and, of course, the Virgin Mary having her final home there. So all of that was just truly amazing and interesting to learn more about and to think about them walking in the streets that we were walking in. But honestly, that was just one part of this tour. So we headed back on the bus and we headed back downtown to Kusadasi.
Now, a lot of tours in Ephesus build in some time to go to a rug making, it's not really a factory, but like this shop.
Yeah.
And this excursion was no exception. But it was really cool because they invited us in. You know, Turkish people apparently are known for being extremely hospitable, and they always greet you with a drink and a sweet snack. So we had Turkish coffee there. And what were those little like pastry treats they gave us?
Turkish something, but it was definitely unique and something that I don't think either of us have ever had.
No, it was like I don't know. It was really good though. We liked it.
Yes. Yes, so this was just not a shop, a rug emporium. It really had everything, including a demonstration area. So here we actually learned about the art of silk carpet making. Right from how the silkworm cocoon is kind of swept up in this water and this contraption to make the silk. It was really amazing to see that kind of hot basin of water and all these white cocoons kind of like bouncing around. And then her like tiny brush just swirled and swirled and swirled and picked up those threads. And before you knew it, she had this long thread that just seemed to go on, obviously not for miles, but yards and yards of it out of nothing. It was incredible.
Well, they did say that a single cocoon can produce up to a mile of thread.
I can believe it.
Yeah. Then we watched a weaver at the loom, and her hands were flying. He asked her to slow down to show us how she was doing it, and even in slow-mo for her was pretty fast for us. So we just kept watching, and it was amazing. And he explained that they do like a double knot. So apparently that's why Turkish rugs are so valuable and so special, is that they use this unique way of tying their knots in this double knot. and they hold up for years and years and years and years. Now, seeing this sheer amount of work and artistry that goes into each handmade carpet was astounding, and it did give us a whole new appreciation for the art of carpet making there. So then they took us into this other big room, and they just started rolling out a number of beautiful rugs, and they made a big show of it.
Oh yes, they had a dozen or 20 different workers there, and there was the lead person who talked about the rug before they rolled it out, and then these rugs are like 9 by 12 is the smallest, so when they roll it out, it makes this big scene, and they want you to take your shoes off, walk on it, get down, feel it. So our whole tour really took advantage of that, and it was rug after rug after rug until the entire floor was covered. Maybe 2 or 3 fold with rugs.
And if you were interested in a rug, they would take you to another room where you could look at other rugs. They also did show us not just the silk rugs, but also the wool rugs. And they had some that were literally not dyed at all. It was the color of the sheep. So there was like a whitish cream and some gray and some darker gray.
Yes, it wasn't high pressure. We know of people who try to skip out at this point because they don't want the demonstration and feel like you should buy a rug. So we will tell you, you can leave, but I think it's worth the show. And like I said, just don't feel like you need to buy an expensive rug just because they're showing it to you.
Yeah.
And they don't expect the majority of people to buy rugs. So just enjoy the show and the knowledge, and just treat it as really part of the tour.
Yeah, and the Turkish coffee and the little pastry, and enjoy that too.
Did you mention that they also had Turkish alcohol or some sort of?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
did you have that? That's right.
I did have a little bit of that. So they
Marshall doesn't drink coffee.
No, right. So when you were drinking coffee, I had a shot of something very Turkish that had some alcohol in it.
But you don't know what it was.
I don't remember the name. But the point is, it's quite an experience, and I think it's worth going to.
Yeah. Some people bought rugs, and what was interesting, he said that if you bought a rug, they give you a permanent marker and have you put your initials and sign your name on the back of the rug. So when it arrives to your home, then you'll know that that's the same one you saw in the store. The other interesting thing that they said was that the Turkish government pays for all the shipping and all of the fees, import fees, export fees, whatever they are, in order to help subsidize this ancient
art form,
really, yeah, and keep that art form alive in the country.
So we left the rug shop, and I didn't know it at the time, I don't think we did, but we were in the middle, pretty much the middle of what's considered the Grand Bazaar of Kusadasi. And we just started to venture forward and see all the winding streets with shops on the left and shops on the right. It felt very comfortable and not really any pressure to buy anything, and everybody was in a very good mood as we walked around the Grand Bazaar.
Yeah, now I will say, I just didn't know exactly what the Grand Bazaar was. I had pictured like this big mall sort of situation, but that's not what it was in Kusadasi. The Grand Bazaar is actually an entire district, and like you said, there's more than one street, and there's intersecting streets, and they're connected, and there's beautiful art everywhere. There's beautiful products that they're selling. They're offering samples of Turkish Delight, which is their candy that they're known for, and it's just an overwhelming sensory overload, I guess you would say, but in the most wonderful and magical way.
Talk about magical. They have something there that they highlight, which is their genuine fakes.
Yes.
And I know you enjoyed really going in and see, all the designer stuff, or fake designer.
Yeah. It says genuine fake. They have genuine fake watches. They have genuine fake shoes, like expensive brand names. They have genuine fake designer bags. Now, I will say I was a little too scared to buy genuine fake designer bags, so I bought one that didn't have a name on it. Their genuine fake products are so good that some of our fellow cruisers purchased suitcases.
Genuine fake suitcases.
Empty suitcases that they could fill up with all these genuine fake products. Now, I thought that was a pretty smart move. So I am very much looking forward to going back to Kusadasi someday. We don't have a Kusadasi or Ephesus trip on our itineraries coming up, but I'm going to be looking for one.
I'll be right there with you.
So when we go back, I'm going to spend a lot more time shopping. The prices were excellent. I mean, really, really good. Everyone spoke English, and they had prices in euros, and they also took credit cards. So easy payment options.
Okay, Kusadasi is definitely about the shopping, but there's also a lot of history there. So while we were walking around through the winding streets, we noticed one of the mosque towers. And it took us a while to find it, but we went into this kind of back courtyard, and through all that craziness of the Grand Bazaar was this peaceful courtyard in front of the mosque that it was just serene with all that noise around it. So it was not prayer time, so I felt that it was comfortable to take a peek, and in this mosque I just went in, and again it was just super quiet and a wonderful experience to walk into a mosque in the middle of downtown Kusadasi.
So yeah, we had actually stumbled onto the historical Kaleiçi Mosque, I think it's called. We later learned it's the oldest mosque in Kusadasi, and it was built way back in 1618 as part of a project to develop the city there. So a lot of history there.
What was nice, because this is very foreign to me, going into a mosque, is they had a QR code that you could pull up all the rules and suggestions, regulations. So that's what we did, and I was like, I want to give this a try. So I took off my shoes and I read the rules. I was very respectful. I made sure that, I had proper dress and long pants, no super shorts or anything like that, and women had their own dress code. And when I did go inside, it was even more serene than the outside courtyard. It was very quiet. There were a few people in there, and I just took a moment of silence and looked around, and it was incredible to see the artwork, the tile work, and just all the effort that was put into making that mosque over 400 years old now. So it was really incredible.
I didn't go in on this day because I didn't bring my scarf. I had a scarf in the stateroom that I was planning to use the next day to visit a mosque. And in this particular mosque where we were in Kusadasi, the women had a separate entrance, and I kind of wanted to go in with you, so I decided to wait until the next day to go. But if you do go, just look it up ahead of time what is required. No shoulders can be shown, no knees, and then women also need to cover their heads. So just keep that in mind before you go, which I had looked up ahead of time. I had my scarf with me in the stateroom. It was no big deal. And we couldn't leave Kusadasi without at least trying the Turkish Delight. So you tried, I think, pistachio?
It was pistachio and a couple other flavors, and I'll give it a 2 thumbs up. It was different and a multi-layered candy bar, for lack of a better word.
It's like a nougat center with like
nuts and marshmallows. It's worth it, and it's all over Kusadasi. Yes. So you'll have plenty of time to find a place and just sit down and try some Turkish Delight.
Yeah, there was one place even really close to the ship. So so many flavors too. So check it out, give it a shot. Let us know what you think of it.
All in all, Kusadasi delivered a spectacular, unforgettable adventure. I think probably because I just didn't have any expectations, and it just exceeded everything that I had possibly thought of.
Yeah, I would say I didn't really know what to expect, but now that I know what to expect, I can't wait to go back and spend a lot more time in Kusadasi, especially now knowing what we know now. And hopefully this video has helped you in case you're planning a trip to Kusadasi, that you'll know more of what to expect there as well. So if you have any questions, please let us know, and be sure to give this video a like, and be sure to stay tuned for lots more cruising content coming your way, because we have been filming like crazy.
That's an understatement. So stay tuned.
Take care.
So long.